For the first time this season, the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off 2 straight victories. Both of them happen to be on the road. Now this week, they return home to Heinz Field to face a classic AFC North rival who happen to be first place in the division. That is the 8-4 Baltimore Ravens. The only thing is with this matchup, the Ravens could very well be without star quarterback Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, who sustained, I believe, was a PCL sprain in the Denver Broncos game last week. And according to John Harbaugh, the Ravens head coach, he is week to week, with this week being less likely the case.
So we very well could be seeing Kenny Pickett versus Tyler Huntley for the first Steelers-Ravens matchup this season.
It's December football. It's going to be some of the best football to come for the NFL season, especially when it comes to Steelers and Ravens, despite who's playing for the Steelers and Ravens, despite who may be injured, who may be in, who may not be in. It's going to be a classic, defensive, hard-hitting football game.
As it always is, man. These games are always fun to watch. These games are always a must-watch for both fan bases or for the entire NFL, to be real with you. This is one of the best rivalries in football. This is going to be a traditional Steelers versus Ravens football game, and I can't wait. The Steelers have some momentum on their side. Like I said, 2 straight wins. Both of them are on the road. Now they return home and in home field advantage. So can they win 3 straight? That would be something. I'm not going to lie. This has been a very rocky season. It's been weird. It's been different. And to get 3 straight, although the team is not great whatsoever, that is still an achievement for where this team's at.
Yeah, it is.
So if they were to get 3 straight, despite how it is, which honestly, if they do win, it's probably going to be in the same fashion they've won every single game.
It's never going to be in stellar fashion for this team.
No.
They never make it easy.
It's never going to be pretty. It's never going to be in a consistent manner. If we somehow do win this game, it could very well be the same way we've won the last 2, where we've been up and then they've let the team come back and we somehow pull it off in ugly fashion. That might be the case in this one, but this is a different ball game. The Steelers versus Ravens, men. The Ravens are top of the AFC North for a reason. Now, I will say, sitting at 8-4, we're not any better. Okay, we're a trash can right now. I'm not gonna lie, but the Ravens, in my book, are not a very good football team.
No, this year has definitely exposed them. Honestly, in my opinion, it showcased the type of team that they have been based off the amount of blowouts that they've blown, or type of game that they have blown.
They pretty much they've been up by double digits in almost every game this season,
and they completely blown them.
Yep.
They let teams like the Dolphins come back, and the Giants to come back, and the Jaguars of all teams to come back.
Every single loss that they have this year, they were up by double digits at some point, and they let the teams come back. They're not a great football team, and honestly, it seems like like Rob said, the team's been exposed in every manner, and the Ravens are looking a little overrated.
Whether that's some of the players and their aspects of the game, or whether that's some of the coaches, in their case, Greg Roman, their offensive coordinator, or John Harbaugh, with how he's been the past couple of years, pretty much, failing. Based on what the type of team that the Ravens have, honestly, on paper, they look like they could be a stellar Super Bowl caliber team, to be honest with you. But something always happens with them, whether injuries come about, or the coaches just fail on the players, or the players just don't live up to their potential.
It's something just it just falls out of line for the Ravens year after year. But the guy that's been there for all this time has been John Harbaugh, and I'm starting to think he might be on the hot seat, especially after this season, after everything that's been going down, honestly. And may I say, this is definitely the matchup between 2 of the worst offensive coordinators in football, probably in the history of the NFL. I'm going to say that. And with that being said, I could see this being highly defensive, as is most Steelers-Ravens matchups, but this one for sure.
Yeah, and even if Lamar Jackson was going to play in this game, I don't think he really had that much impact. Don't get me wrong, Lamar Jackson's a stellar player. He's a hell of an athlete, but his resume against the Steelers is not too great.
No, it's not.
We have been his kryptonite.
But the fact that a backup, Tyler Huntley, who has proven, he showed it last year, that he can go in and still keep a hold of that team. But I'm still anticipating a defensive matchup because the Steelers' offense is still trying to find its way, even though the rushing game has been productive since the bye week. And, of course, the Ravens are with a backup quarterback, and their receivers are so dead right now. They can't find a receiver to save their lives.
I'm looking at their wide receiver board right now. Their starting wide receivers, based off the depth chart on ESPN right here, is Devin Duvernay, Demarcus Robinson, even 35-year-old Deshaun Jackson.
They have no wide receivers. Rashad Bateman went out with a season-ending injury. They have no number one. Their number one is obviously Mark Andrews, who terrifies the hell out of me because he is one of a few tight ends that leads the team in receiving yards. I think it's him, Kelsey, and, of course, Steelers' own Freiermuth.
Yeah.
Andrews is a game changer. He's someone we're going to have to contain. We've had trouble containing tight ends in the past, especially stellar ones like Andrews. So he's going to be a handful. Of course, along with Huntley is the rushing game. The Ravens have always been good at running the football.
Yeah.
And the Steelers' rushing attack, the Steelers' rushing defense is very inconsistent. The entire defense is inconsistent.
Yeah, they're very hit and miss, especially when it comes to stopping the run. There'll be times where, they look stellar, but then the next couple plays, guys running all over our defense.
All the time, man. So we got to stop the run in this one because you got to force Huntley to throw. You got to force him to throw to pretty much, honestly, I don't want to say nobodies, but backups.
Yeah.
So we got to stop the run of the Ravens. And the offense has to take advantage and do what they've been doing the last couple weeks in a positive manner outside of sleeping in the second half. Run the ball. Keep going in the ground game. Keep running the rock. I know the Ravens' rushing defense is probably one of the better ones in the league. Their front seven is stacked. It's led by, believe it or not, veteran guys that actually lead the team in sacks. Guys like Justin Houston and Calais Campbell. Those two lead the team in sacks right now.
Yeah.
Aging guys over young studs.
You can't even forget about guys like Jason Pierre-Paul. They traded for Raquan Smith to lead that charge in the middle of the front seven. Their front seven is pretty stellar.
It is. It's stacked. It's very stacked. So I don't want to sleep on the Ravens' front seven. Their secondary is very banged up. It's very overrated. Marlon Humphrey, I feel like, has fell off a little bit. Marcus Pierce has got to be one of the most overrated corners I've ever seen in football. The dude's a scrub, and I really hope George Pickens goes up against him because that's going to be a fun matchup. And seeing how Pickens was frustrated last week, get him involved this time around, and let's see him school Marcus Peters. That's something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
If that's the case, which I'm 100% it will be, that would be a fun matchup, and I think it'd be fun just to watch.
Yeah, it really would be.
So Pickens versus Peters, I'm looking forward to it, but the defense got to stop the run of the Ravens. They got to force Huntley. They got to force the game into Huntley's hands pretty much, and the offense got to continue what they've been doing in the ground game. They got to run the ball. They got to successfully do it. They got to get first downs, move the chains, kill the clock.
And finish your drives. The Steelers, I feel like the past couple of weeks against the Colts and the Falcons, they left a lot of points off the board. They need to score. They need to finish their drives.
I know this team's young. It's still gelling together. They're still trying to get chemistry going and everything. But at this time, at this stage of the season, after weeks of seeing how this offense has put up some points decently and how the run game's been going nicely, very positively actually.
Yeah.
At this point now in the season, there's no excuses for them to not finish drives. So definitely finish drives in this one.
Yeah.
So what they've been doing in the ground game, they got to keep it up and then some. Keep killing the clock, and like Rob said perfectly, finish drives, get points on the board. But that's a lot easier said than done because this is a different ball game. This is AFC North rivalry. This is AFC North football. This is Steelers Ravens. Defensive, for sure. That's what I'm anticipating.
And honestly, it could very well come down to the kickers for the team. Justin Tucker, arguably the best kicker in NFL history.
Doesn't Boswell come back for this one?
He's been out 4 weeks. I don't know if he's going to be designated to return. I would assume he would be. But then again, Matthew Wright's been real stellar since stepping in for Boswell.
He was automatic last week.
He's been automatic the past 3 weeks.
He has been. But, I can definitely see this coming down to a field goal. I can definitely see this game being within 3 points as it normally is.
It's Steelers versus Ravens, man. But, nothing else to expect.
Even though it's a different time, it's a different era for the Steelers versus Ravens since this is pretty much the very first matchup with Ben Roethlisberger officially retired. It's a different look at the rivalry, Lamar Jackson probably won't be playing in this one, so we'll be seeing a young stud in Pickett versus a backup in Huntley. But nonetheless, this is still going to be a classic game. This is still going to be what we normally expect from Steelers versus Ravens. No matter who plays in these games, it's always a must-watch. And that factor alone, I'm excited. So, Steelers versus Ravens. Who do you guys think is going to win? What do you think the Steelers need to do to succeed? Let us know in comments. Let us know in the chat below. Otherwise, let's get 3 straight. This season's been weird. It's been rough. But to win 3 straight, I don't think any one of us anticipated that at this stage of the season. And no matter how they do it, ugly or not, most likely ugly if they do win, I honestly can't really hate a 3 straight win. So if they somehow pull it off,
we'll see what happens.
We shall see what happens. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Let us know your guys' thoughts down below. Here we go, Steelers. Let's win 3 straight. And let's beat the Ravens in the first matchup this year. Here we go, Steelers.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!